I still think women play very important roles in Vietnam before the war and after the war, and they have demonstrated great strength to get through it all and rebuild the country. I would say before 1975, if you ask me about role model coming into mind, is Miss Nguyen. She actually led the Vietnam delegation in their negotiation against the U.S. in 1973. And she did a great job. She's a politician, diplomat. She's smart. She speaks fluent French, and she did a great job to help us to pretty much have a victory in the 1973 negotiation with the U.S. I might not put it in the politically correct words, but yeah, you can definitely Google or search about that event. But she's smart and charming and everything you can ask for in a great diplomat. I was born after the war, and if I look around at my friends, colleagues who live in the city, who receive education, who has a job, I don't think we are so much disadvantaged comparing to men. So I think we equal. We have the same opportunity, and but I'm only talking for the people I know, and mostly only representative of a very small part of Vietnamese population. The majority of Vietnamese population reside in the countryside, working on the field, and that's where I think women's rights haven't got the where it is. Haven't got to the point that people who live in the city like myself have enjoyed since I was born. I'm pretty much born with equality, but I don't think the same women, same age with me, who live in the countryside have enjoyed that privilege. I cannot name a name, but I would say the model right now is those ladies who grew up from the war, who had very hard time to gain their education, and however, probably in their 40s or 50s, who are now heading many of the major corporations in Vietnam as a leading business model, business women in Vietnam, because they have it all. They lived through the war. They're very tough lady, yet they got the education and they managed to equip themselves with all the right tools, with all the qualities to be successful in business and to really add value to the Vietnamese economy. Yeah. I mean, for example, Miss Nguyen, who made it to the top 50 leaders in Asia, I think, businesswomen in Asia. She's heading one of the biggest corporations in Vietnam, Vietnam Milk, which have, I think the company has a total revenue of over $1 billion US. Yeah. I would hope that the gap between the city and in the countryside of Vietnam is just narrow, getting narrow. The women in the countryside who have the same educations, the same opportunity as people who live in the city. Obviously, that has to come with our country getting more developed, economic as well as in education, health, and in people's mindset. I don't think that can happen overnight, in most of the cases, it normally lag behind, even behind the economic growth. It takes a while for things to change. But I can see that the younger generations in Vietnam, they have a lot more opportunities, and hopefully we see things turning around. Admire people who were a lot of people, a lot of young ladies who might be born in the 1990s, so who probably just fresh out of university, or who in their 20s, 30s. They're not only extremely smart, they have the great education, but they also have the spirit, in the sense that not just to do well for yourself, but to do something different for the community. I see a lot of them coming back to Vietnam. Some they graduated overseas. They can probably have a very high paid job overseas, but they come back and want to make a difference. And in so many fields, art, science, economy, they're everywhere. And I guess that's the hope for our country.